Hello, everybody. I'm Henry T. Haven't been here for a while, but I'll tell you what, we're going to really get it going this fall. In the spring. The Henry T. Show is back. And I mean to say that with all the enthusiasm Henry T. possesses, and that's a bunch. Yeah, man, I got rid of that gout stuff, and man, I'm ready to go. Fired up, got ideas for you. And if you have ideas for me, bring them. Here's my cell number, 505-907-4523. You have an idea, bring it. All ideas surrounding the world of sports, I want to dabble in. I want to touch. I want to evaluate. I want to express them. Exciting world of sports. So many phases to it inside the game. Man, we talked to the quarterbacks, the running backs, the defensive backs, the big defensive ends, and then we go to the guys inside the game that make the game happen, like the referees. Wow, what an experience that has to be a Division I football referee. I did Division I basketball before I turned broadcaster, being out there with those college athletes in shape, trying to keep up, running the floor. The crowd's right on you. You got to know the rule book. You got to have to know the word rapport, because you got to get along in the heat of the action when tempers flare. And you got to go up to that head coach and say, "Coach, I got it." Or you say, "Coach, man, between you and me, I blew that call, but I'll be better next time." Rapport, how does it happen? Happens in all kinds of ways. Today, we're going to really do our job as reporters. There is a young referee who resides in Santa Fe, star athlete at Taos High School, and he's a Division I college football referee, Abram Anaya. Everybody knows him. He was a great athlete. He's officiated at the levels that you have to be before you move up to the big time. And believe me, he is big time. In my opinion, and there are some great referees in New Mexico who've gone big time. One of them, Lloyd McPeters, went to the NFL from right here in Albuquerque, former quarterback at Highland High School. And here's a referee, and there he is right there, the good-looking guy, Abram Anaya from Taos, New Mexico, lives in Santa Fe. And in my opinion, he's one of the best in the country. He's a humble man. I'm sure it shocks him that I'm calling him one of the best in the country, because there are many great ones. But I just want to say good afternoon to our friend Abram Anaya in Santa Fe. How are you, Abram?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much, Henry, for having me this afternoon. Looking forward to this conversation.
Wow. You've been doing Division I for about 6-7 years. And man, it seems like you just started, but you're a veteran now. You've got all those great experiences under your belt. But let's go way back at the beginning. Your love for athletics. Where did it start? How did it happen?
Well, like most officials that get into the sport that they love, I had a passion for football since I was young. I loved to play it. Of course, I came, like you mentioned, from Taos, played elementary, played in junior high, played in high school, and that passion never stopped. And when I started looking at how I wanted to continue this, as you get older, you can't play football forever. So you got two choices. And one of them was to coach. And I did. I dabbled in coaching for a couple of years. And then I had some really good friends of mine that were referees, officials. And I went and hung out with these guys for a little bit, did a couple games, and said, this is my calling. I love it. Being on the field with those kids under the Friday night lights, there's nothing like it.
Wow. And at your level today, at any level really, the heart's beating, the lights running, the green grass, the sound of the crowd, the scent of hot dogs upstairs, and the concession stand, it's all there. There's a lot of exciting parts to athletics, and I'm sure I don't have to remind you of them because it's all part of the show. It's a big show, but man, you got to get there to do a job, to be as fair as possible and be equitable to the whole scene. Tell me more about your responsibilities.
So the game takes care of itself, as you know. We're there to manage the game, and our expectation is there that we are prepared as possible to see this game through and do the best job we can on that field. So the preparation beforehand is quite intense. At the college level, I'm talking it's basically a full-time job. We're looking at film, we're looking at tendencies, we're looking at the players we need to look at. We're looking at different kind of plays in different situations. The same thing that the coaches are doing, the officials are doing. That way, when the play happens, we're ready for it. We're expecting it. So when we show up 3 hours before a game, we're already dialed in to officiate that game. And yeah, you mentioned the crowd noise and you mentioned all the pageantry that goes on with these games, which is just truly amazing. Once that ball kicks off on the field, it all goes away. And we just dial into our specific responsibilities. And like I had mentioned to you before, sometimes these games are so great and we don't realize how great the game that we just worked is until we see the film the next day and go, wow, that was a really good game. But we're just so dialed into the function of the officials, we don't see it from the fan perspective.
Yeah, the pregame that you guys have, it's lengthy, it's thorough. Everybody has to be reassured of where they're on the field. What official are you? Field judge, what?
I am the center judge. I work on the offensive side of the football, counter to the referee. And in some games, I actually am the referee, but in the Big 12, I am the center judge. My primary job is to watch the line action, spot the ball, make sure the spots are true, accurate, marking off penalty enforcements, and making sure the game flows smooth.
The game is fast. These athletes are bigger, faster, stronger every year. And the other thing is, objectively, you've got maybe 30 cameras all over that field, covering every angle of the game. It didn't used to be that technical, but now they run a replay. You got to have it together. But in my observation, 95 plus times a game, the referee is right. You guys are sharp. What makes you that sharp?
Well, you said it right there, Henry. They got so many cameras, they're looking at every single play. And this is where it has changed over the years. Before, yeah, you get ready in August for the season coming up. Now it's year round. We're doing spring ball, we're doing fall ball, we're doing summer ball, we're going to camps, clinics, and most importantly, we're watching a whole lot of film. We're taking a look at action. So a lot of times we'll go work the practices and scrimmages for these college teams on our own time because they're allowing us to be on their field, which we're so grateful for because we're watching the way they're coaching the players. We're watching the way the players develop. And that allows us to learn exactly what's going on during the play. And we can evaluate in a split second. Like, you're absolutely correct. These players, they're big, they're fast, faster than I've ever seen. And our brain has to process the action in a nanosecond to determine whether or not it's a foul, whether that foul is germane to the play, did it have material effect. And we have to do all of that before we throw the flag. So having all those cameras and all those angles when we look at our film and we evaluate ourselves at the end of the game, each game makes us better.
Is there a built-in innate skill that's right out of heaven that allows you to make that split-second call? And is it anticipation? Is it that quick photo memory that you've got to have? What is it that puts you out there so accurately?
You hit it on the head with the photo memory. This is why we watch film. And I got this. I've had some great mentors over the years, some NFL guys that taught me some great stuff. And one of the things that they taught me was the brain is a CPU, just like any other CPU, just like any other computer. It can only process so much stuff, but it has a built-in memory. So as you're watching film, you see a certain action and your brain processes that action, says that's a hold. So when you see it on the field, your brain automatically goes back to that action you saw from whatever game, and you can make those split-second determinations. It's all just about game preparation, watching film, and just seeing plays, honestly.
Wow. After the pregame, you and your buddies, your other referees, come down a tunnel. You come out a door that's field level most of the time. And after talking to one another, now it's time to go out there in the field. You walk out, the green grass awaits you, and there you see the arena. Big arenas like you officiate in. What's that feeling? What goes through your mind when you see that?
I'm going to share a story with you, and it's really funny. My first ever Big 12 football game was in Kansas State. It was the year they just remodeled that stadium. Beautiful, huge stadium, holds, I believe, 58,000 people. Season opener, packed to the rafters. I came out there and I was so dialed in, so focused on the game, I had absolutely no idea what it even stadium even looked like yet. It was about halfway through the second quarter when one of the veteran officials on the crew came over to me, tapped me on the shoulder and says, "Abram, have you even bothered looking up?" And I said, "Why?" "Just look up, take a look around you." And it was at that moment that I realized everything. And so that just gives you a sense that the officials, we really focus so much on the game. In pregame, you walk out that tunnel, like you said, I'm hitting that field. I'm immediately doing the stuff I need to do before the game. I'm talking to my quarterbacks. I'm talking to my centers, my linemen, making sure I'm getting that rapport that you were talking about earlier so that they know what I do, I know what they do, and we can all work together to make this game the best game we can provide for, let's be honest, for the television audience, the people that are really watching this thing. And so we're so focused on what we got to do. Unfortunately, we do miss some of the pageantry sometimes.
But it's all there, part of the show.
It is.
Being a basketball official several years ago, I appreciated that noise, the sound of the crowd, that feeling of, man, it's time to get it on. No more messing around. I got to be an extension of the game. Thank God I'm an athlete. I'm in shape and I'm the quickest one out here. You are an extension of the game. You've always stayed in great physical condition. I watched you at your clinic 2 weeks ago at St. Michael's High School. You're game ready. You've been working out. How mandated is that for you to be in shape?
It's actually very mandated. And you're absolutely right. Remember a second ago when I told you this has become a year-round avocation? We stay in shape year-round. Yeah, the college football season ends in December, or late bowl games if you're lucky enough to get a January game. But from that moment forward, you're in the gym, you're working out, you're running, you're staying in shape. I'm 50 years old now, so I got to do my best to stay up with these young athletes. And these guys are just amazing young athletes. So I continue running, eat well, diet, good physical care. And that way that when the game gets to those critical points where you're talking about and everybody's amplified, the last thing I can be is tired. When you're tired, we all know you lose that mental focus. the visual acuity. So we need to absolutely be at our pinnacle of physical fitness. And our league mandates it. We do physical assessments, stringent physical assessments to make sure we're at where we're supposed to be and we're meeting our supervisor's expectations.
From the state of calm that you're in right now and the state of adrenaline rush like you're going to have on Saturday, what's the difference? How many marks do you go up to that emotional level of being in a college football game?
Honestly, my goal, the way I've trained myself, is the energy of that game is going to amplify, like you just said. The emotion of the coaches is going to rise. The emotion of the players is going to rise. And that's why they're the best at what they do, is because they have that ability to rise to the occasion. The officials, on the other hand, we're the calming factor in this. We need to make sure that game never gets out of control. We stay within ourselves. So I never let my emotion take control. I keep my adrenaline at bay as best as I can and just stay smooth, calm, collected for the whole 60 minutes.
And I don't really mean that you got to be totally calm and your heartbeat has to be at zero, because your heartbeat is probably at, way up there, because you got to be ready. You are physically ready. You're in the scene, the noise is there, and the sound of ooh, ah, blocking and tackling, and a referee yelling at you over here. It's all in front of you. And you got that red flag or the yellow flag in your pocket, and you don't touch that flag unless you see it and you're sure, and you got to sell the call now. How do you do that?
Oh, I love the way you described that, because it's exactly what you do. You see the action, you realize, is this a foul? Is this not a foul? Okay, now does this have an effect on the play? And again, all this process is split second. It's going through your mind so fast. And then after I've determined, yes, I'm going to use holding for an example. There's material restriction coming in. Yes, the quarterback still has the ball. This guy could have made a play, so it has an effect on the play. Yes, this is a foul we want. And after all that thought process goes through, then the flag comes out. And that's why, for the most part, like you mentioned, the referees are, I believe we have an accuracy rating of 97%. And that's why we process this. And if any part of that process does not feel right, I'm going, that might not be enough. If I'm saying that to myself, it's not enough. And so that's really honestly how we look at those plays.
When you see the play, you see the foul, you see the infraction, a man in motion, went beyond the line of scrimmage, a clip, whatever it might be, bang, you see it. Do you wait a second before you throw the flag to rerun your rerun machine, or does it have to be quicker than that?
No, always what they want from us at all time is a patient flag, because that shows the official is processing it. Even if it's a big safety foul, for instance, we have a hit on the quarterback where the guy comes in high, targets and hits it. We see it. We see that helmet. We process it. I don't need to chuck my flag immediately. It's going to come out nice, slow, patient, showing that, I saw it, all the whole action, all the way through. I processed the foul and then calmly called the foul.
Well,
And that's just professionalism.
And your communication with the referee, we got a flag. It was your whistle. It's your call. What's the process from the point of the foul to go to the referee and say, I have a holding, I have an interference call against number 13? What happens there? What are you taught how to convey the message?
So we want to make our referee's job as easy as possible. So when they flip on that mic, the national cameras are all focused on him. He looks calm. He can present himself clear, say what he's got to say, and then come off the mic. So when I report a foul, I report that foul exactly how that referee is going to report it to the world. Holding, number 75, offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. It's still going to be second down. That way, I'm giving him a heads up right there. I just basically made his announcement to him, and then when he flips on the mic, he just basically repeats what I have just said, and everything just looks calm and smooth.
We're going to put some shots on the screen here. We got one ready to go right now, and we shot some really cool shots at you at your coaches, your referees clinic a couple of weeks ago. And these are referees around the state, maybe around the country, that made it a point to be at your clinic because they knew that Abram's clinic was going to teach something to them, get them fired up for this season. What's the effect of your clinics?
Hopefully, it is preparation. Hopefully, what they're getting out of this is the mechanics. They know where to stand. They know what to be looking at a different part of the play. They know how to move their progressions. And honestly, that's what makes a good referee better. I'm looking where I'm supposed to be looking. I'm focused at what I'm supposed to be focused at. This is where it needs to be seen. And too many times we see the younger referees out there that they're watching the ball. They're spectators more than they're officiating. And it's really, really hard to separate that in your brain because I drive my wife crazy because I'm watching football on TV and I'm watching my keys and I'm watching the officials and I'm not really even watching the game, and I'll pick up stuff that she goes, "Oh, come on, just watch the game." But what we want out of these camps is we want our officials to be as best prepared as they can for the season that just started last weekend. And we want them to go out there and provide the best product they can for these student athletes.
Into second quarter, then the band's coming out and the network's going to some scoreboards and information shows, and you're trying to get to the ramp or wherever you guys are going to. After the first half, how do you calm it down to evaluate what you're going to do in that 15 minutes in the locker room? What goes on there?
So what we do at that point is we come together as a crew. What did we have in that first half that we could do better? And there's always something. And we talk about things, whether it may be game pace, whether it may be ball handling mechanics, whether it may be the penalty enforcement that could have been a little bit smoother. And we start to talk about specific actions in the game. That did you see this particular action on the receiver? Do you believe that was enough? Let's talk about it. And that gets us dialed in for the second half. And it also helps us to understand, okay, now the game is going to be, there's going to have this kind of an emotion to that second half, and we need to be prepared for that. So it really gives us a chance to sit down, talk about the first half, refocus, rehydrate, of course, and then get out there to hopefully just rock that second half.
So you're never in a calm frame of mind. You're always up here. You're learning, you're intense, you want to be better. You're focused in on what happened now, how I can improve, what's coming, more emotion. The game's going to be a thriller to the end. I mean, there's so much about a referee in the moments ahead, and you got to be ready because it's coming.
So I'm going to tell you something. At the end of every single college game I've worked, whether it was at the Division II level or the Division I level, after that 3.5 hours, I am so mentally and physically, but more mentally drained because of the focus and the concentration we give on every single play. You can't take a play off at this level. You just cannot. And so by the end of that game, I'm literally almost zombified, because eventually the body does run out of juice, right? And that's when it happens.
When you know it was a bang, bang play, but you also know you were right, and you can hear the emotion. Maybe you can't, maybe you're so tuned in to the moment that you block all that out, but you got a coach coming out there on the field. He wants to know what's going on. You got cheerleaders screaming at you, and you can hear the roar of the stadium. How do you keep your composure?
I've had a lot of practice. I think you knew this. My career, I was a police officer for 22 years, all the way up to the deputy chief position. And I've worked in a bunch of very high stress situations. So that actually helps me stay calm. I can go talk to an irate coach he really doesn't want to hear what I have to say. He just wants to vent. And we get that. We understand that. And I can stay calm and I can keep him calm and level and not rise my emotion to his or to the level of the crowd. I have the ability to think about it in the terms of a major league pitcher who just threw that accidental pitch right down the center of the plate and the guy just crushed it for a home run. All right, short-term memory. Got to get past that pitch because I got 50 more pitches to go, right? And it's the same concept. I may have a flag for a penalty that I see, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a dead red, great call, and I need to put that away. That was last play. You know, I can't sit there and pat myself on the back. I got to get ready for the next one. Conversely, if I have a flag that I'm thinking, oh man, that might not have been the best flag I've ever thrown, I need to put that away too, because I can't be replaying that play from 2 plays ago because now I'm going to miss this play. So short-term memory is a must in this, and thick skin.
Wow. Division I college football has changed significantly. Maybe the technical part of it for the viewers might be number one, but the game has always been the game. And you being an athlete, you've been in the fire before, but when you're really in the fire and a team is driving, they're at the 20-yard line, there's 20 seconds left in the game, and wow, everybody's attentive, especially you. That moment, are you different in that moment than you are in the early first quarter, or does that intensity grab you too?
I'm gonna say I hopefully have that same focus in the first quarter than late in the fourth. But you're absolutely right. We'll get hyper focused when that game gets critical. And I'm not saying we're not hyper focused at the beginning, but it does dial up. And I like to think that when I set my threshold for whatever I'm going to call, I'm going to set it in the first quarter, and that's going to stay the same all the way to the very end of that fourth quarter. It's not going to go up and it's not going to come down. And really, that's all the coaches ask of us, consistency. Is this the same official that's going to call a holding in the first quarter, the same as it was in the fourth quarter? I don't want a guy that's going to let a lot go in the first quarter, then in the fourth quarter is going to call every little pool on the field. They want consistency, and that's what I strive for.
I'm thinking about the very first day it went ding, ding, ding. I want to be a referee. I'm Abram Anaya, and I can do that job. I mean, you think, gee, did you have a splitting headache that day? Did you just walk out of a mental health examination? Gosh, why choose this as your second occupation? Is there an obvious answer? Do you have it ready to go? Why did you pick this occupation?
Because I love football. So when I first started out, I was probably the worst football official in the state of New Mexico because I went out there and I was just loving football. I'm watching the quarterback throw the ball. I'm watching the running back run through the holes. And I was a spectator. I was a terrible official. And it took some really, really great people over the years to teach me that if you're going to officiate football, you need to be an official. There's responsibilities, and they don't include watching the pass fly through the air. They don't include watching that running back make that break. And so the more I learned about the little intricacies of the game, the more I even got more impassioned. And it became almost something that I needed to do. I needed to learn it at the next level. And so I got some really fantastic next level mentors that taught me really the nuances of the game on how to be better.
That's another phase of it, the teamwork, talking to each other, a little chatter, hitting the guy on the back, say, you're a great referee, great call, or preparing your other referee for the upcoming moment. Is there that team talk going on amongst you referees?
Absolutely. We can stay in communication. And that was, you asked, one of the great things about our camp. And that's one of the great things about our camp is that we can develop those referees and we can develop those interpersonal relationships. So during the season, we can look at their film and we can tell them what they're doing great, what they could improve on. And that builds and it just snowballs and it improves the quality of the officials throughout the state. And one of the things, I don't know if you noticed about our camp this last fall, was we had guys from Las Cruces, we had guys from Farmington, we had guys from Clovis, we had guys from obviously the Central and Santa Fe. Every corner of the state was there. And we all came together as a family to be better and all be on the same page. And these guys are emailing me plays literally every day from their games on the weekend. And that is what it's all about.
Do you think after your recent clinic, your referees got better?
I hope so. I hope they got something out of it. I give them everything I can that I've learned. Everything I've learned from the greats that have come way before me. And I just steal all that goodness and then pass it on to the next guy. And that's what it is for me. For me being at where I'm at now, the giving back aspect to the great people in New Mexico, that's my passion. That's why I love these camps and clinics, because it's my opportunity to help that next generation of official get ready to be the college guy that's going to take my job.
You know, I was always asked in the past, Henry, what's the hardest game or the hardest play rather of a basketball referee? Most of the time I'd say the block charge call. Bang, bang. It's either one or the other. If it's fair and not too private, what's the toughest call for a referee in Division I football?
Man, that is tough because we have such a big, wide range. So we have the bang bang play, the receivers, and they always want to talk about was he early for the pass interference, or was it bang bang synonymous with the ball, everybody connecting at the same time? That is extremely hard when you, especially got those receivers that are running 4.2s and they're lightning fast. For me, my realm is that holding, that subjective nature of it. We talk about, was it a restriction just enough to have material effect on the play? Was it something that we really need to call, or can we let go because the play is completely away from this action? That subjective nature is tough. And the only way you can get better at that is just watch a lot of film, talk to a lot of officials, get a lot of opinions, and you start to piece things together. You start to develop what's called your threshold, and then you just live there. Don't move, live there, and it's going to serve you well.
An out of control coach comes on the field, man, and he is after you. He's telling you about your ancestry and everything, and he's losing it. How do you get rapport with an irate coach?
What I've always found is you talk to them on a humanistic level. You know, I understand why they're upset, and I understand why they want this, because they're fully vested into their team. And right now the officials are holding all of that in our hands, and they want to make sure we're doing the best job. So I have found you listen to the coach, you talk to the coach, you get exactly where he's coming from. And then you try to let the coach know that, hey, we'll discuss this, we'll take a look at this. And sometimes they just don't want to deal, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear you change the call. We're never going to change the call. We just don't do that.
When does it get too far? How does a coach cross the line? How much leverage or how much rope will you give him?
I'll give them a lot of rope. I understand the emotion of the game, and I understand their role in the game. And I'll let the coach vent. I'll let the coach scream and yell a little bit. Of course, I take them completely off the field, and we talk on the sideline. We never, ever talk in the middle of the field. We get them off to the sideline, and then the coach can tell me what his concern is. But then at some point, you have to stop and say, okay, coach, I've heard you loud and clear. We got a great game going on here. We need to continue this thing. All right. So we're going to keep going. And then you go back onto the field. And usually I've found that most coaches at that point, they want to get back into that game. If you tell them, coach, this is a really good game, let's finish this thing strong, that's all you need to say. And they're like, okay, let's get back to playing football.
What kind of chatter? What goes on amongst the players? Talking to the opponent on the field, talking to their teammates. How interesting can it get? You're there, not only do you see it, but you hear it. Man, this is Division I college football, the sounds included. What's that like down there?
Oh, you get some pretty interesting chatter coming out of these young athletes. And let's be honest, if you're a Division I football player, you are a type A alpha male 100%. And so it comes out and they get going and the chatter back and forth. Some of it's actually very cerebral, which is kind of cool. You listen to them talk. Some of it's just mean and nasty. But that's one of those things that we have to gauge. Okay, when are they crossing the line? When do we have to jump in there and tell them, all right, that's enough. You're about to cross the line. So that's where we keep control of the game itself.
Wow. What fun for you to be down there, a part of all that. And, I would love to hear the sounds of the game, somebody to produce the sounds of the game on the field and mix it so you could be relevant to the site of the play and the chatter during the play or after the game. But one thing I wanted to ask you, we talked about bigger, faster, stronger. How good are these players? How fast is the action on the field, Abram?
So these players now, back in my days when I was playing, you have your 300-pounder that was running a 5.5 and you could outrun him pretty easily. Now these guys, 300 pounds running 4.5s, 4.7s. It's just amazing. I'm going to share a story with you. I was working a game at San Diego State and Arizona State where the quarterback rolled away from me. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm in a good position. He's running away from me, so I don't have to worry about it. He stops, turns dead red, stares me straight in the eye. He starts sprinting right for me. Well, right behind him is a 300-pounder running step by step with this guy. He cuts right off my backside. I literally had nowhere to go. Well, the 300-pounder didn't cut off me. He went through me. And just because of the sheer speed and size and athleticism, I had nothing to do but just take the shot. And the worst part of this whole story is the entire crowd just booed me because I basically blocked for the quarterback and he took off running, and I'm getting booed on national television because I got ran over by a great big lineman.
But it's unavoidable. There's no
It was.
There's nothing out there.
There's nothing I could do.
I love it. I've come to know your family a little bit in the last month. You got the most sincere cheerleader of her husband. You can do no wrong. Your wife, Cynthia, is your biggest fan. And she's out there with your girls. She's taking videotape. She's a part of you. She wants you to be better. And your girls are running errands and they're trying to help me with the camera out there. What a life you live. You've got your priorities together. Great family. You're a godly man. And you've got a career and then you've got a side career. I praise you for being so versatile and so sincere about who you are as a man and your priorities, being there for your family first.
Henry, I'm so blessed beyond belief, more than I could ever appreciate. And my wife has been by my side since I began this career 20 some odd years ago. And she has been my number one fan, like you said, support structure. Some days you have a bad day and she's there to bring you back up. Some days she's there to bring you down a little bit when you're a little too full of yourself, to keep you humble. She's been just so amazing. I could not be where I'm at today without the support of my wife, Cynthia. She is everything to me. And I'll tell you something about what makes her so special. She'll sit there and watch games. I'm out on the road and she's watching the game home on TV, taking notes. And then when I get home, I got to answer to her on her notes as to how I missed, what I missed, why I called it. And she wants answers. Who does that?
Wow.
And that just
Nobody.
makes me better.
Now that's a love story. That is a beautiful story, man. And the father that you are, how big a thrill is it for you to be a father?
Oh, it's just awesome. And these poor girls, I've drug them to every football field through high school, all the way from Escalante to Jal, and on all points in between. And they go and they have fun and they never complain. And I don't know if you know this, but I do also umpire baseball. And the daughter you met, Opal, who is just the hugest baseball fan ever, she saw, I would say, at least 80% of my games through high school. And she just out there watching. And then she's doing the same thing Cynthia's doing. Hey, how come you were flinching on that one or whatever? And it's just the coolest thing, that the support I have with my family is unreal. I can't say enough. I can't be thankful enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Abram Anaya. My opinion, the best referee in New Mexico. There's some great ones out there, and the competition is close, but he's my favorite for certain reasons, because, boy, he is an extension of the athleticism that the athletes bring out there. And you appreciate an official like Abram, because he's exactly what you want out there. He's fair, he's fast, and he understands the furious that's right in front of him. Quickness as a referee, being in shape, is it mandated?
Absolutely. You got to be in shape. You got to have that mental focus throughout the game. And the only way you're going to do that is you got to be dialed in. You got to be able to have that mental focus for 3 hours. And sometimes if you're not in shape, you'll lose it. You're going to miss stuff.
How
There's no
long do you
question.
carry that game in your mind when you're asleep finally on the airplane coming home, or are you still thinking?
Oh, you're replaying every play, every call you made, every little thing until the next day. And it's the Sunday after the Saturday that I'll sit down and I watch every single play, evaluate myself every single play, evaluate my crewmates too, by the way, because I may see something that I could benefit them with. And they're doing the same thing. If they see something I could benefit from, they're feeding me that. And this is all just to make us better. We put the egos on the shelf, put those away, and let's improve. And then we come together as a crew on Tuesday or Thursday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and we discuss the previous game. And it is at that time we put the game to bed, because put that one away. Starting Thursday, you got that prep for that next game. We got to be dialed in for whoever we're seeing that Saturday. They demand it, our conferences demand it, and we demand it from ourselves.
How do you execute that? Is that on a Zoom for all your referee crew? How do you do that?
So on the crew meetings, yes, we have a crew meeting with the Zoom meeting that we'll look at film, and we look at all the different plays that each individual official has sent in to say what we could have done a little bit better in this particular situation. And that is a crew meeting. And then the night before the game, we actually have an in-person pre-game meeting. And during that pre-game meeting in person, we really discuss what last game lessons learned and what we're going to see tomorrow, so we can be ready for that. You talk about the anticipation of the plays, the players, the action. We might see a heavy running team. We may see an Air Force, a triple option team. We may see an Oklahoma that's just going to throw the ball and light it up out there. We need to know that going in to those. And that's what Friday night is for.
Wow.
Dial in.
What an experience knowing you're in the big time Division I college football. and I'm aware of the games that you call. I won't share them with the audience because you instructed me not to, but man, these are teams you read in headlines every morning, especially on Sunday morning. I look at those games and who played, and everybody's name's there but the referee. But you were a great big part of that game, and fairness and how you handled everything a part of what took place out there. But you guys won't get the pat on the back like the coach, but leave it to guys like Henry T to recognize you and pat you on the back, and you deserve it, Abram. How much fun is it? That the fun factor of what you do.
Oh my God, this is so much fun. Every day I'm out on that field. I don't care if it's a junior high field that I'm looking at the kids play, if it's Yaffle, it's a practice, it's a game, it's everything. Oh, I just love this sport so much that you got to have a passion to do what we do, because we give up so much of our time and energy to do this. And I just love this sport so incredibly much. Being out there at the end of those games, and you just have this feeling of euphoria at the end of the game, and there's nothing like it.
Wow. We're going to bring on a friend of yours right now. Kind of a surprise to both of us. Dennis Barella wants to talk to you. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Dennis, come on in, buddy. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Where are you, Dennis? I can't see you.
Oh, okay, hold on. I need to put on my camera here. All right, I got it.
All right, Dennis. Anyway, Dennis, there he is, somewhere in there at the bottom of the screen. What brings you to us today?
Well, I got a text message not too long ago to log on and listen to Abram just talk some football. And so we're on a road trip, actually headed up to Farmington, New Mexico to go have a rules clinic meeting with Farmington High School Association now at 6 o'clock. So we thought this would be a good way to spend a couple hours on the road and listen to Abram.
Do you have a question for Abram or a comment?
Hey, Abram, it's Victor. How you doing?
Abram, he asked you, how are you? Do we still have Abram?
Yes.
Go
Yeah, for
ahead,
some
Abram.
reason my mic muted itself and I couldn't unmute. Hey, Victor, a fellow Division I official, Victor Sanchez, works for Conference USA. Another great one out of the land of enchantment.
Hey, so, I heard you talking about dealing with coaches, and Harry's asking you about, the process and just how everything is on the field. The one thing that I think a lot of people, and you mentioned it, but I think people don't really understand, and this isn't so much a question, but as a comment, is that, how we got into this. I don't think anybody chose to get into this. We kind of fell into our lap, but it's one of the experiences, whether you're officiating at the youth level, officiating at the sub-varsity level, high school level, small college, NFL, it's the friends and the associations you make in this business. And Abram can attest to this. Some of the best people we have ever met in our lives, we met through officiating. And it's not the games, it's not the good calls, the bad calls, the good games, the bad games. It's those relationships that we have. Just like the three of us in this car, we got Esteban Baca from Santa Fe. He's a Lone Star conference official. Dennis, myself, Abram. It's those relationships that are what you take with you that last a lifetime.
Hey, man, could have said it better.
Yeah, and it's not only that; it's our wives. Our wives have become friends since we started the camp, and it's been successful because of all of our wives have been there to help us run it administratively while we're in the classroom teaching it. They're putting everything and keeping everything together while we're busy talking football.
Dennis, how many years have you called football?
This is my seventh year, I believe, and this is my going on 5 years with the RMAC.
Wow.
So I call it Division 2.
And you can attest, like I have already spoken, that Abram Anaya is one of the best around. Do I get your vote on that?
He's the second best. You're talking to the best right here. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, he's great. I mean, if it wasn't for Abram, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. With the rules knowledge that he's taught me, the mechanics, philosophies, and just how to be official on and off the field, and just how to talk to people.
Thank you.
Where we're on the field. So
Dennis,
yeah, he's one of the greatest.
Being on the show today. Abram, do you have something to say about Dennis?
You know, Dennis is a great example of somebody, yeah, talk about fall into it, like Victor said. He came to us just raw as can be. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I could turn this guy into a college official. But then this is what makes a great official great. Everything we told him that would better him, he put into place. He enacted everything. He took all the advice. Never once did he tell me, yeah, well, or yeah, but he just worked on it. If I told him he needed to lose weight, he'd drop 5 pounds. If I told him he needed to focus this, he did. If he needs to move this way, and you know what? He put all of that to hard work, got in front of the RMAC supervisors. They liked what they saw. I look at him now. Now he's flourishing 5 years later in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference.
Beautiful.
And this is just a tribute to everything that we're talking about, this whole program and giving back. If there's a young official out there that's watching this right now or watching the replay later, you know, reach out to us. We're always wanting to develop the young guys. We want to get as many New Mexico guys, the quality young athletes on the field in the stripes. So we're here
Dennis,
for you.
thank you for calling and being on this show today. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Take care. Wow, that's great feedback. You know, I promised your wife that if she got home early enough from work, that she would sit next to you and give me her side of the story. Is she home yet?
Oh yeah, she's right here. Yeah,
Cynthia.
She's sitting here shaking her head because she hates the limelight. But
Oh,
you know
I
what?
know.
This is her time to
I'm
shine.
not
She
going to let her
deserves.
escape, Abram. Have her sit next to you.
She deserves some of this because she's a big
Yeah.
part of why.
Both of you on camera, and I'll ask her a question.
Okay,
And,
here she comes.
Let's
Reluctant?
meet Cynthia Anaya. And most people say the better half of Abram, but they're two great halves, I'll tell you that. Hello, Cynthia, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I can barely hear her.
Sorry.
Yell at me, Cynthia.
Hi.
Hello, you got to really speak up because these computers, man, they need a great big voice coming. What do you think of the success story of that guy next to you, Abram Anaya? In all ways, shapes, and form, describe your husband.
He's so motivated and ambitious.
You got to talk louder than that.
I'm trying. I said
Go
he's
ahead.
so motivated and
you are.
ambitious, and he's just got such a big heart, and he really loves helping others. And I appreciate that. You know, he sees somebody that wants to become an official, and he will do anything he can to help him out and help him achieve their goal as well as he achieves his own goals. And it's just amazing. He's so inspiring. And he's taught me a lot.
He praised you, Cynthia, for being his biggest fan and how you even evaluate him when he gets off the airplane on Sunday. Well, how about this play, big shot?
Yeah, you got to give him a little nudge once in a while, because that's the only way he's going to get better is if I give him my honest feedback on how I thought he performed for that day or any other day. It's always important.
And here's the most important evaluation of this very talented man. my observation, he's a loyal, productive, just an amazing holy man, father, husband, dad, all of that. What's your evaluation of him?
He's amazing. He's my rock. He really helps me through everything when I'm stressed out, when I'm happy. If I'm being difficult, he lets me know. So he brings me back to earth. And I mean, I don't know.
If he gets a little too rowdy, do you throw a yellow flag on him?
Actually, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What a fun experience. And Cynthia, before I go, these feature stories don't happen by accident. You helped me in the planning of this show since day one. And my gratitude pours out to you. And I thank you for helping us organize this difficult show.
Thank you. It was just weird luck that we met, right? So I think it was meant that we would cross paths and just how it happened. And I gained a good friend now that I know you. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Amen. Hey, when he has a bad game, how do you snap him out of that bad mood?
Want to tell him?
That question was to you.
I just want to tell him what's going on, why you look so mad, what happened that made you so upset. And he tells me, what are you talking about? And I tell him, go look. You could see it on your face. You're not very happy. Something happens, but remember, it's just a game. Enjoy the moment and have fun.
Yeah. What a treasure the both of you are. And what a treasure it is to have met your daughters and have been with you throughout this month and the planning of this very, very important show. And Abram, I know that there are going to be some referees. They're not there yet, but they saw your interview. Now you put some fire under them. They want to be like you now. Throw some advice out there to them.
Be open. What?
We lost your audio.
Okay, we got to turn the mic just a little bit here.
There
So
you go.
just be open to advice, no matter where it's coming from, no matter who it's getting. The only reason why I am where I am at, because I had a lot of great people tell me a lot of things. And if I would have dismissed any of that, these people wouldn't have continued to help me, and I would have never improved. Even when it seems hard, stay the course. No matter what, you're gonna have some bad games, but use them as a learning platform. Don't let them bring you down. And it's just continue the friendships, the passion. And as long as you do that, if you have a love for the game, this game will take you anywhere you can imagine.
Your aspirations for the future, Abram. Do you want to be invited to the National Football League?
I don't know about that. When I finally got the call to join the Big 12, this was the pinnacle of my career. I can't even fathom past this level. I am just so humbled that I would be given this opportunity, and I need to go out there and prove to everyone that I belong and that I am at this level. So right now, that's 100% my focus. I can't even think above it right now. I'm just so honored and blessed
Wow.
for the opportunity presented to me today.
Well, you're the youngest 50-year-old guy I've ever seen, and your wife might be somewhere in there, I don't know. We're the youngest couple that's ever been on this show that claims they're near 50 years old. Because it is in the cooking, Cynthia. What do you do there? Is she a good cook, Abram?
She's a great cook, and some days it's a blessing, some days it's a curse. I have to do a couple extra miles out there to work off the enchiladas, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Wow. Make sure you're talking to the mic, Cynthia. What is the meal of the day or the meal of the week that Abram will request?
I don't know.
What's that?
I'm thinking.
I can't hear.
What? I can't see.
There you go.
She can't come up with. She can't come up with a decision there. I think because whatever she makes, whatever she puts in front of me, it's just glorious. I'm eating it.
Yeah. Move that mic around before we say goodbye.
Okay. She can go right there.
Lost your voices there a second. As we say bye today, Abram and Cynthia, I just want to say thank you. This is a rare story, a rare moment on the Henry T Show. And now that I'm making my comeback, what a way to come back with this show today. Cynthia, thank you. Abram, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
us. It's been my honor and pleasure being here today.
Anything we left out, Abram, that you want to say?
I just want to say to those people out there that are thinking of becoming a referee, give it a shot. Come do one game, you're going to get hooked for life. Trust me, get out here and change the world.
You move that mic and repeat all of that.
All right. Does that better there?
Now,
So my last statement to everybody was, if you're ever thinking about becoming an official, a referee, get out here, work a game, get on that field with those kids. Trust me, one time's all you need. You're gonna be do it, and you're gonna come right back. Trust me, give it a shot.
amen. Okay, guys, we'll see you real soon. Good luck this weekend. Abram, Cynthia, God bless you for all of your help and continued success to your great family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Wow. An hour with Abram, Anaya, and Cynthia and I joins in at the end. What a great couple. They fired me up today. Now, because of their fire that they just gave me, man, Henry T's comeback is going to be powerful. And I'm going to rise again and do the things I want to do. Oh my goodness. Get me on the treadmill. Let me run in shape because I feel it now. They made it more real than ever before. Don't ever take a referee for granted. Know and feel about what you saw and felt today. And the message from Abram. These are conscientious, self-conscious extensions of the game. Abram, a great athlete in the past, a great athlete today. And he is blessed with a beautiful wife and beautiful children. And he loves calling your game. So with that, I say thank you to our producer, Jimmy Tran, best producer I've ever known in this business. And I've been doing this work for a while. See you later. And don't forget our next show. And be aware the shows could come at any moment because Jimmy Tran and I are going to get going with some magical television shows. And the magic happened again today. See you, Abram. Take care, Cynthia.
Goodbye.
Take care. Wow, what an experience. See you later. We'll have another show for you in just a few days. This is Henry T. Henry T Live. Game Face has never been bigger, and it's going to be astoundingly more exciting in the days to come. Have a great day. See you soon. I'm Henry T. For Jimmy Tran, my producer, take care. Good job, Jimmy.